What is going on, everybody? I heard my good buddy Jet Central actually had a video. I got to get him on. I'll give him credit for kind of motivating me to make a topic. Sometimes, video makers make other really good videos. I want to also debate Bad Dog on Dak Prescott. He's been coming at Dak a lot, and I think Dak is still good enough to win NFC divisional championships, and Dak Prescott is going to be a quarterback that can win a Super Bowl. And even though he's not Aaron Rodgers, he's not Mahomes, no problem. There's barely any guys that are like Rodgers, that are like Pat Mahomes, that are those really elite throwers of the ball. Maybe Josh Allen's that type of guy. But you could be an Eli Manning, you could be Jimmy Garoppolo, you could be just really, really efficient and be an awesome, awesome player and just produce just as much. Tom Brady. So anyway, I'm going to talk now about the Baltimore Ravens because Jet Central said that they're a team that is completely undervalued, and I disagree. I think that they're a team that's so overrated. Baltimore last year with Lamar Jackson, they went out, they beat Atlanta. Atlanta wasn't even really a team that was in contention last year. They were kicking last year. They were just basically quitting on last year towards the end of the season. Their defense was in shreds because of injury. They lost Keanu Neal, one of the best safeties in football. They lost Buchanan, their linebacker, in the first game. Ever since the Eagles game, Atlanta has just been, they were a mess defensively, and they got rid of their defensive coordinator, and their head coach is smartly going to take over that defense again. A good coach in Dan Quinn, who's not like Ron Rivera, a coach that actually has a recent track record of success that's only been there like 4 years. He's won like playoff games every single year. Like, he's actually a good coach. But when you look at Baltimore last year, I mean, Lamar Jackson, did he really have, how many good wins did Lamar Jackson have? Barely any. He was able to beat the Browns in the last game of the season. He was downright terrible against Gus Bradley last year in that revenge game against the Chargers, where the Chargers had the revenge against the Baltimore Ravens. The move to get rid of Joe Flacco was good for both parties because Joe Flacco needed to get away from Marty Mornhinweg. Joe Flacco needed a change of scenery. He needed a new challenge. He was too complacent being in Baltimore, and I think he's going to have a chance to win a Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos can win the AFC West with their coach, with Vic Fangio, and with the talent that Joe possesses. Joe was able to win a Super Bowl. He's not a consistent player, but if he can win a Super Bowl again and be one of the best quarterbacks in football, he is good enough to be a Hall of Famer if he could get to that level and win Denver another Super Bowl. If he never wins another Super Bowl again, he is probably not a Hall of Famer, but he needs to win that next ring to get to the Eli Mannings and Kurt Warners of the world in the Hall of Fame. You need to win 2 Super Bowls to be truly in that category of guys that can do it over time. Lamar Jackson, as a quarterback, he's the worst thrower in the NFL. The worst. He could barely hit a 20-yard throw. He was not a good thrower at Louisville. The guys were wide open at Louisville. He is just a good runner. He's a good improviser. He's able to have touch in the short passing game, but I doubt that he's going to lead them to success. Then they have Mark Ingram, and Mark Ingram is old. They're paying all these old dudes. They think that Earl Thomas, just because he's a name, that's the worst contract I've seen. They're paying Earl Thomas $14 million for 4 years. And he has stated that he was going to retire. 2 years ago, he's like, I'm going to probably retire. This game is taking a lot out of me physically. He's going to be 30 years old. They're paying him for a 4-year contract. So they are acting like he's going to be Eric Weddle. They're acting like Eric Weddle's just pop around all the time, and he's going to have the same trajectory. The freaking owner of this team, Paul Bucciati, he said he was going to fire John Harbaugh before last year. And you've had Mornhinweg, you have the same old group of guys, And I just think that this Ravens team with Harbaugh and with all these dudes, it's the same group of guys, and it is a boring team. You have Hollywood Brown, whatever. You get the guy, who's the other running back, Justice Hill, that you have. I mean, you lose Mosley, you lose your good pass rusher there, Zadarius Smith. You're losing all these guys. I think you're going to be awful. I mean, Tony Jefferson's a good player, but again, how old's Tony Jefferson? I bet he's like 30-year-old. He's 27. He's been around quite a bit. I think he was with Arizona. Yeah, he was. Brandon Carr is a starting cornerback. He is 33 years old. So you just have so many older guys on this team. Now, Marlon Humphrey I do like, and I liked him out of Alabama in the third round. It's because even though he didn't intercept any passes, like he was still a really good cornerback at Alabama. Like he would still make plays in the passing game. That was one of the picks that they hit on with Ozzie Newsome. But this new coordinator now building around with Marty Mornhinweg, building around building around Lamar Jackson. They think it's actually Greg Roman's. And Greg Roman, he was terrible with the Buffalo Bills. He was an awful offensive coordinator. I'm going to pull up his stunts of duty, Greg Roman, and I'll tell you guys his Wikipedia page and the offenses that he was a part of, okay? So this is what he was, an offensive coordinator. He was with the Bills. He was really bad. He was an O-line assistant, and basically he was with the Ravens, I guess, for the last 3 years, and he just got promoted to the job. But he's never been a good play caller at all. So you think that Greg Roman, who's had no track record, is honestly going to be good? This Baltimore team totally sell stock, 1,000,000%. Lamar Jackson, not a good quarterback. Defense is old. You lose Terrell Suggs, your defensive leader. You lose Weddle, Zadarius Smith. You're charting out Brandon Carr and an Earl Thomas that could possibly get hurt. Tony Jefferson's 27 years old. Who the heck is your linebacker core? Do you really even have good linebackers? I just don't like this team at all. I really don't, and I don't believe that you could beat Pittsburgh. You haven't really been able to beat them. Cleveland's not awful, since he is awful, but you're still not making the playoffs. I think you have the worst quarterback in the NFL. I think he's going to get figured out quickly. I don't see a long-term career for Lamar because he can't complete a 15-yard pass. He just can't. So, you know, Lamar did well last year. He made the playoffs, but I believe he's going to get worse. And if he doesn't continue to make the playoffs and he has this type of production again, he's going to be out of the NFL. That's the bottom line. Tim Tebow was out of the NFL, and he made the playoffs. Same sort of deal. So Lamar's got to keep winning. It keeps shutting me the hell up. And let's see if the Ravens can shut me up this year. Let's see if John Harbaugh can do it. Again, decent team, good fan base, good guys, just older guys that I don't believe in. So I don't believe in Baltimore. And I'll say that. I don't believe in Lamar. I don't believe in Harbaugh. I don't believe in Baltimore, Earl Thomas, Mark Ingram. I think they're going to be bad for a long time. They're not able to reset now. They spent all their money in free agency. They're trying to win now with this rookie quarterback. Don't see it happening whatsoever. They're going to be just a throwaway team in the AFC.